But let's take stock of earnings and more of those. We have with us the management of IndiaMART InterMESH on the show. So let's talk about how their performance has been. Dinesh Agarwal, the founder and CEO, on the show with us right now. Dinesh, while it's been a strong revenue drive for you in the second quarter, your collections have indeed improved. What can you tell us about the way forward? Would you say that the growth story remains intact? What's been your observation from the on-ground reality right now?
Yeah, so I think the business has started to recover very quickly, as you can see from across all the parameters around GST and e-way bill and everything. We believe the strong growth is about to come, and a little bit of that is visible in the collections last quarter, which has resulted into about 20% growth in the deferred revenue. And as you can see, I've been explaining that our revenue is typically 20-month moving average from the deferred revenue. And in the past 6-7 quarters, because of the COVID-1 and COVID-2, the deferred revenues were muted. So that is why you are seeing a little bit smaller growth in the revenue. But I think given the outlook is looking well, I think a strong growth is going to follow soon.
Sure. So what sort of guidance and visibility that you have on your collections this time? You know, like you're rightly saying, there is revenge/binge buying. Clearly, the economy has opened up quite nicely. Fortunately, the third wave so far has abated us. So just wanted to understand, now that we are amidst the festive season, what can you tell us about the collections and how they're likely to pan out going forward?
As you can see, the collections have started to grow in the higher double digits, and the deferred revenue, which is the cumulative indicator of the revenue, has also increased by 20% at 756 crores. Given that this quarter and next quarter seems to be quite good, we believe that we should be hitting back towards our previous revenue growth rates of nearly 20% or so.
Nantara, I was going through some house views before the results were announced. I won't ask you on that, but a lot of them were talking about, your share price being between 9,000 and 10,000 rupees. They obviously know something. Now, you have pioneered B2B marketplace. Going forward, how will you keep your edge? And Mr. Agarwal, I asked this with a forward-looking vision simply because everybody now wants to be in B2B, from a Reliance to an Amazon or new age companies like Uran.
So there are different kind of B2Bs. There are Kirana B2Bs and there are Pharma B2Bs. However, if you look at our categories at IndiaMART, we are more like manufacturing B2Bs. Mostly manufacturing, wholesale trading, the industrial goods, pharmaceutical intermediates, electrical and electronics, plastics, materials, raw material. So we are on a very different path. However, most of the other B2B that you see, they are all trying to solve problems in different segments of the B2B. And the B2B is huge. As you can see, almost $1 trillion worth of B2B GMV is happening right now. So there is a lot more problems to be solved, and everybody is trying to solve different legs of the B2B. Another thing that I can tell you is that we have been continuously making investments into the strategic financial areas, such as we have recently made an investment into AirChain Technologies, which is into the procurement management software. Similarly, in the Logistify or Truck Haul, which is the Super Procure. So we are slowly trying to create an ecosystem which helps our kind of B2B going forward.
You got 13.8 crore registered users. How many of them are actual users, which is that they are active?
Yeah, so we have started to report that active user number. About 33% of them are the last 12 months active. I can tell you the exact number.
New registration is coming at what pace? So new registration, when I say you got 33% active users, but what about the new registration?
So new registration, as you can see, it has increased from last quarter of 131 million to 138 million this quarter, and the 12-month active buyers are about 38 million.
Okay. So how does one understand your model? I'm, let's say, trying to address this not for sophisticated investors, but for institutional, just for our retail investors. More business means more money, or more business does not translate into more, more revenue for you. It is about active users and it is about the number of new registrations.
I think it is about the active users and the number of new registrations both, and combined with what is the repeat rate of those active users. So if you see over the time, our repeat rates are slowly inching towards more like 57-58%, this 90-day repeat. Because today we touch about 10% of Indian internet population every month, about 20%, 25% of Indian internet population every quarter who visit our platform. Now, from here on, the important part would be how do we get more of their problems solved, and they come more frequently to IndiaMART to source their products, whether it is the supplies, whether it is supply chain, whether it is business services, or whether it is forward supply chain, whether they are creating dealer distribution network. So slowly, as you have seen, the overall traffic over the last 2 years has grown up by 40-50%. There would be definitely a lag impact on the revenues once the SME sentiment improves, because what happened in the past 1 year, rapid internet adoption has caused buyers to come to the platform. However, the suppliers are under tremendous pressure due to the credit crunch as well as the demand crunch into multiple industries. And now that that is opening, we believe that there is a good outcome going forward when we start to monetize those suppliers well, and when the suppliers are ready to be monetized as well.
Just to wrap it up from our end, a lot of your suppliers and a lot of your members essentially are also, in a sense, they are also stockists. They are also dependent on supply chains. They are also dependent on China in terms of giving their production and giving their entire manufacturing line a fillip. We are going through a massive logistics stroke, a supply chain disruption. So typically what happens to your members? Because while the uniqueness of IndiaMART is that you want to make the end buyer meet the seller, but when there is such a large change happening in terms of supply chain and imports from China, what is your experience?
See, it gives you the mixed experience. What happens is if there is a supply crunch, the more buyers start to look for other avenues other than their offline or other than their existing channels, going on to online and start finding. So in a way, it trains newer people onto how to look for buyers, how to look for supplies on IndiaMART. At the same time, since the supply is crunched, there is a domino effect that the number of buyers increase. However, there is no supply, which might result into increase in the prices and which defeats the purpose of IndiaMART, because IndiaMART, the core objective is to give you prices which are the most deserving prices in the market. So I think, until there is a supply-demand gap continues, I think a matchmaking platform can't do much on that side. But it definitely helps IndiaMART in terms of getting more users to be trained for future supplies.
Right. I'm sure, Dinesh, you don't really observe your stock regularly, but considering we do, and this has been one of the star performers since the March 2020 lows, just wanted to understand what you'd like to tell your investors. Considering yours is a high valuation stock, in the last 3 days of the correction that's played out in the stock market, it's fallen about 12%, but still you're quoting at a high valuation of 65 times FY23 PE. What's your message to the shareholders and why they should continue to believe in your stock and the IndiaMART story?
As you say, I can't comment on the valuation metrics or because we have nothing much to do. Probably all the internet stocks around the world are traded heavily, given that there is a huge shift towards the online and the marketplaces with a strong network effect is there. We will continue to work towards making sure that business is done easier. We will continue to work towards the SMEs to make sure that they are able to find a avenue where they can promote their products and services at the cheapest cost without paying for a hefty commission or anything.
Okay, point well taken. Dinesh, good luck to you for the future quarters, and I'm sure we'll chat again soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much.